and welcome back to Inspiring Charlotte. I'm Lori Zanino.
And I'm George Plumadies.
And today we have Cass Key and Nicole Bailey from Taylor King joining us. We're going to get a little insight into working in the furniture industry, working for a superior furniture company, and being women in this industry, which is typically kind of a male-driven industry. So welcome, Nicole and Cass. How are you all today?
Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So give us a little background about yourselves. How did you come into working in this industry?
Well, I grew up around it. So I was a kid in the industry. My dad got in actually when I was on the way here. So been in it essentially all my life. Didn't start working in it until my late 20s. And actually went down a totally different path to start with, which was how our parents encouraged us to not follow in their lead. And
Well, that's not a bad thing because you kind of go out and then come back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I started out in a newsroom. I studied journalism in undergrad and loved that, but learned quickly that you need to give up every holiday and every weekend. And
Well, that's retail. Well,
Yeah, I studied it too.
You're right.
yeah, but Cass, you know from retail, we already did that too.
Right.
Yeah, that's
right. So went into sales, actually in media sales to start with, and that was sort of my first foray into B2B
Wow,
sales.
we took a similar path.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to
Media
hear
sales
more.
too.
Oh, that's great. And I love people, so I love the sales side of that, which of course still tracks today. This selling is all about people
It
and how you
is.
connect and your product, of course, but it's the people piece of that. So I can get long-winded, so I'll try to stay focused here. But so after a couple different corporate sales positions, was finding myself, just a little passionless and like, okay, did that little pause and said, what do I want to do? And went back to like, okay, I loved going to market as a kid. Kind of did this like self-exploration and had gotten into, at this time I lived in Nashville, and had gotten into O'Moore School of Design and thought I'm going to go down the interior design path.
Yeah.
And about to start my first semester, and Jack Glasheen, who's one of the founders of Hancock O'Moore,
Great man.
called me up, knew I had sales background and history, and said, we need a sales manager at Cabot Run, which is the contract division of Hancock O'Moore. And so it was like, oh, great. That sounds awesome. Can I still go to school and do that? And he said, nope. No, you can't.
Welcome to reality.
He's like, no, this is not a part-time thing. This is on the road every week, and haven't looked back. So fortunate to be here.
And you've worked some great companies too, because I love Highland House, one of my favorites.
Wow, very fortunate, certainly.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
Great people, great product,
Yeah.
wonderful manufacturers. So I feel very fortunate.
And
certainly.
Cass, how did you get your start?
So my family's not in the furniture business, but I did grow up in Lexington, North Carolina, so it was around me, and I was aware of market growing up. But I think it was kind of just in my blood. I was the kid that would make aerial floor plans of houses that I would set up my blocks, and I would turn the blocks sideways.
Legos.
And
I used to
was
do it
Legos.
with magazines and cutting out pictures and putting it on poster boards. So
yeah, and the micro machines, I would lay out the city and all the
Okay, so now we're the same. You
Yeah,
two are the same.
right,
This works.
Yep, exactly.
I did
I
the
would set
same
up the
thing.
Barbie house. I would never actually play
more
Barbies. I would just
architectural
decorate
stuff.
it, and then I was out. He's out. Yep. So I
Style
went
her home. Now play with the Barbie.
exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Here, Jesse, come
No, I
play
did
with
that. I
Barbie.
did that
That's
for my
sister.
daughters. I would build their Barbie houses, and I'd be like, "Don't touch it. The house is decorated perfectly. Don't move the furniture. Like, I need to figure out where to get some draperies for this room."
Exactly.
And then they come in with a thing that's not really Barbie and want to put it in the house. I'm like, nope, that's not the right
no.
scale. That is way too small for that room.
Yep.
No. So then I went to High Point University and majored in interior design. And so that tracked. I worked every single furniture market as a student with different companies and kind of got a lot of different exposure in that opportunity. And just the industry captured me, and I was hooked. I worked for Rowe Upholstery right out of college.
Yeah.
That was a great place to start. And then went and did retail for 15 years. As we
Yeah,
talked about.
Fun. The retail side.
Yeah.
I think every person that works in furniture should go to retail for
At
5
least,
minutes.
Yeah, just go
and
for a little bit and just get that.
see
under
the
your
other
belt.
side.
Yeah.
And then,
You either need to work retail or work at a restaurant.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and
So
deal with
true.
the public because the public is it's changed. I've been in this business now. I have a law background, so I went to law school, but
cool.
no, not my thing. I want to be an architect, but it's a long story. So I did the same thing with the houses and built, like I would get my Legos and build like a house out of Legos, and then I'd do a floor plan for that house. And then I'd build another house, and then I'd do a whole neighborhood, and I'd draw the streets and where the houses were going to be located. And that was I loved every minute of it. And then but I always loved furniture. So I totally get where you're coming from. And the retail side, now I've been in it 25 oh God, more than that, 30 years. Oh God, I'm old. And I think it's changed so much. So the retail side is so different than when I worked for Boyle's, 15 years ago. It was a different world.
You bet. Sure was.
Totally different world. And how is it from your perspective now that you're on the other side and you're the president of the company? How has it changed for you in retail?
Well, I think that we need to continue finding ways to support our retailers better. As you said, it's changed. And of course, we've all had the different analogies as to why, but let's pick on Amazon, right? They've changed all of our patience level. They've even made us a little less gracious as a society.
No kidding.
Agree.
And I think the more Cass and I travel a lot with the company. And so we hear from retailers, they're very candid. You guys are very candid with us. And you go, traffic's down.
Yeah.
We need tools. And so, that's just one example.
Yeah.
But I think that for us to continue listening to feedback and reacting where we can, we can't respond to everything all the time. But a couple things that we've done in the last couple years to give our retailers more tools. You guys have a short window where you can capture that sale.
Yeah.
So what roadblocks are we creating? Because we haven't given you enough information. And, and there's just some things I do think as an industry too, and this is a little bit of a running inside joke inside Taylor King, is we do get a little stuck in how we've always done it. A price list today looks the same as it did 30 years ago for the most part. It's maybe a little more information in there, but continuing to find ways to shake ourselves out of some of that and snip some of those apron strings where we need to. But as manufacturers, we're not wired to do that. We kind of get lockstep because of how our operations run. So I think that's been a big thing for us, is to listen to what you all are facing now and that you need information in real time. That's, again, just one example. There's a lot of things that we need to always be doing better to support you.
And Cass, I cut you off a little bit. I'm sorry. I run my mouth. So I'm good at that.
That's helpful. It's a great conversation.
Yeah, but you were Woodbridge too, which we were talking about earlier when you came in before we started, one of my favorite companies. And the way you've mixed the two companies together in the showroom, spectacular.
Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
really.
That's all this lady for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
they're
Really.
very similar-minded companies, the same ethos, a lot of the same customers. It just really makes a lot of sense, and both amazing companies to work for. I've been, honored to have the opportunity to work for both of them.
I mean, I could spend all day. I could just so when I come to market, just hand me whatever you don't want that's left.
Market samples.
Whatever
Give me
no
all
one's
the
paying.
There's a place for it.
That's right.
Yes,
I'm sure I
absolutely.
can find a wall or a.
He has an apartment. He has no room in that apartment.
No, it
More
is.
furniture
It
than
is.
He will pile
filled.
it in.
Oh, I do have a great Woodbridge chest that a client gave me.
Nice.
Which she was they used it for a year, and she was like, "Do you want this?" I'm like, "Oh,
Absolutely.
tomorrow."
I'll find a
No,
place,
I
right?
found a place in my bedroom. It's perfect.
Don't we become furniture hoarders a little bit in the industry?
Well, especially if you
just-
get a deal or find something that you love.
That you've eyed it forever. Yeah, absolutely.
And now we're insiders and we know where the good deals are.
Oh, for
Right? I mean,
sure.
especially you all, but on our side too, we will find good deals everywhere.
And I think it's like you and I were talking about this earlier. It's like when you do it for yourself, I'm a designer. I can tell you all day long what to put in your home. If you love it, I want you to love it. If you don't love it, I'm not going to make you do it.
Right.
But when we do it for ourselves, because we see at market every trend, every new fabric. I had a white Henrodon sofa, and I loved Henrodon. Was one of my favorite showrooms ever.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite companies forever. I'm sad to say it's gone. And when I gave it to my daughter when she went to law school, I went to go get a new sofa, and I bought basically the same sofa over again from Hickory White, the same.
Absolutely. Isn't it interesting?
I was same color, same
preference.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a little different, but basically the same sofa.
Yes,
I don't know how you guys live there and not redo your house every other week.
It is. It's challenging, because you want to. Because we joke about this, that it's hard to have favorites. When we're putting market together, you think you're going to have a favorite because you just have this personal gravitation. But every time you're like, I can't decide which is my favorite, which is a wonderful feeling, to be that excited. But what it does lead you is when you are ready to update something at home, you're like, where do I begin?
Yeah.
And then we've already started on the next season. Eventually you commit, but I'm certainly more to drag my feet on my own home than anything else.
Well, and so now I get back to real conversations, not that what our preferences are, but in a male-dominated industry, which the furniture industry is, surprisingly, you would think there would be more women now because, people tend to think design is a female-oriented industry anyway, that there would be more women involved, and there aren't, and it's kind of surprising. I mean, I've had female reps, and I've had, but very few. And it's kind of nice to see a change.
Running a furniture company too, it's always traditionally, especially in North Carolina, been men. You know,
Good old boy network.
good
Hate
old
to say.
yeah, it has. Like the design part of it has been interior designers have traditionally been women, gay men, but
Gee, thanks.
no, but it's true. I mean, if
There
you
are a
look
few
at the
straight
numbers,
ones in the business,
there
so.
are a few straight ones in the business. But in terms of leadership within these furniture companies,
it's
it's
amazing.
traditionally been men. So how do you combat some of the things that you face in this industry, and what's unique to it for you all?
You know, I think it is an interesting situation, you know, and how did it get here? I don't know that any of us really know, but I think there is sometimes an assumption that females might not want to be in that space. And so I think
Makes no sense to me.
you know, I look back at some of the folks who've given me a shot and
Yeah.
who have listened or said like, what do you think, Nicole? And I'm really grateful for that because it did give me an opportunity to put my hand up or have a voice at a table. But, you know, of course, now I'm in more of an operations role. And I credit that back to, you know, being interested in the problem solving side of things. I also was really fortunate that when I started in the business, part of my training was 6 months in the factory in every segment of the Hancock and Moore and the Council factories. And
Which is amazing. People have no idea what's still done here and how much is still done here.
that is, you know, again, at the time I was fascinated and excited and as time goes on, I realize just how meaningful that was and how powerful it is. And so I think that kind of put me in a little bit of an operations mind to begin with. So when you're out on the road and in selling situation and you go, okay, why are we running into this issue? And then having some operational background, you'd be like, I'd kind of keep poking my head into that, probably stepping outside of the
problem solving,
the boundary a little bit. But, you know, I think that another thing, and Cass and I've talked about this a lot, and she has a great insight to share too here, is that as technology has advanced, as a female community is more and more working moms, and there's just that has paved the road for more opportunities. So some of it's while I think we're impatient, right? We wanted it to happen 20 years ago. I think we will continue to see it happen more often and at a faster pace.
Yeah.
Because there are more faculties for us to be able to work and you know put our interests to the feet to the grindstone, I guess, and then also be able to be moms and be able, you know.
Well, I've always said that. I tell my daughters, I have two girls, and one's a nurse, one's a lawyer, and I tell them both, like, you do what make you. No, there's nothing stopping you. I will never put. You need to do. You can do anything I can do, and you can probably do it better. And I think you need, and I love that to see it change now. Women can do anything, and I never understood that mindset of, oh, well, it's a woman.
There is some of that for sure.
Oh, you still see it. I mean,
where
it
it
exists.
seems to create surprise, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
you
like,
just
okay. I never understood it, but you know, I may be an anomaly. I'm the one man who never understood. You can raise a family, you can run a house, you can do anything more so than we can. Why can't you run a company? I never understood that. Like, it never made sense to me.
well, it's, you know, again, folks gave me a shot. A number of folks. Jack certainly was the first one, and I'm so grateful for that. It really talk about a pivot point when I was going to go back to design school, and he's like, I need a sales manager, and how do you know what you think of that? You know, that was and I was in my late 20s, so that was a big shot to take. And I really, I sure wouldn't be here today if he hadn't given me that
I mean,
shot.
you're only 32 now, so it's amazing how far you've
thank
gone.
you.
So, like, how far you've come
Oh, I wish.
in such a short period
To
of
do
time.
over your 30s, right?
exactly.
I
mean,
wish.
yeah, that would
Maybe
be a
not.
totally different
right?
role.
Yeah.
Well, design's always been a thing for me in furniture, and it's great to see. Like, I've always known, like, I always knew Taylor King and Hancock and Moore hand in hand. Like, that's how I've always known the two companies. And then when you kind of had your little split, and Hancock and Moore went to Century, I love to see how Taylor King's just exploded. They've grown, and they've so many little niches and so many wonderful styles. Working with great designers. The fabrics, we were talking about the fabrics, insane fabrics. Like, to me, you're one of the leaders in the industry when it comes to fabric.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. Our expert, as you know, here just pushes the boundaries. She stretches us, and you're going to love what you see in April. I feel like
I'm so excited.
You know,
Yeah, we're so excited.
have this
for
stride
market.
where we keep kind of taking it to the next level. And, I think it's part of being fearless. And Cass, you do stretch us. You help us push past our stay in the same lane.
Well, and being part of a small company enables you to be nimble. When you're part of a bigger conglomerate,
Yeah.
there's just more steps and more hoops to jump through, and you have to be fair to all the other companies, and
Yeah.
everybody kind of has to be doing the same thing to a degree. So same thing at Woodbridge, being small and
Yeah.
independent has enabled us to be so nimble, and
Yeah.
that's a real opportunity where we say, why not? And sure, and let's try it. And we can say those things without as much of a risk, I guess.
Yeah.
It's still a risk. We're putting
Well,
ourselves out there.
that's what's been the fun part. Like your brother Chris is our rep, and Chris is amazing. And I love to call him and say, "Hey, I really love this sofa. Have y'all started doing this yet?" Well, let me talk to some. Let me talk to the powers that be.
And he sure will.
He
He's
will,
a
and
great
he's
rep.
awesome. And y'all, you listen.
Well,
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
And
a lot
answer
of
the
companies
phone.
just kind of
That's
you
the
do.
key.
You answer the phone
Answer
and you
the phone
listen
in a timely manner.
Exactly. And it's kind of nice to know that we work with a lot of companies, and a lot of them are like, yeah, no, we're not doing that, or we've thought about it and we're not. But I've never gotten a no, or I've gotten a great reason why, or it's coming, or like when I'm trying to think of the name of the sofa. Oh my God, it's one of my favorites. It's going to kill me. It's got a little exposed wood leg on the back. It comes as a skirted
The
sofa.
Downing.
The Downing. Obsessed. One of my favorite
frame.
sofas. Great frame. You can contemporary. It can be traditional. It can be whatever you want. And I'll never forget when we brought it out. I was like, "Why isn't this in portfolio yet?" And your brother picked up the phone and was like, "Somebody's question. Why isn't this in portfolio yet?" And the next market, it was in portfolio, which is great. And then we could do it by the inch now, and it's got different sizes. And I've ordered it 10 inches shorter, 10 inches longer, 4 inches deeper. It's just. You will do it. It's amazing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. We try really hard. That's important to us. And as Cass mentioned, while we have grown, at a pretty good tick over the last 15 years, we're still relatively small in the grand scheme of things. We're on average about 185 employees at the factory, and we're privately held, so
Yeah.
we can be nimble. And whether it's saying yes to a custom frame or the ability to invest in the fabrics that we do select, it is a gamble,
Yeah.
but that's also part of our selling story and as you walk the plant, you see like, oh, they are committed to this
They are.
fabric. And so that's never a perfect math equation, but we are heavily committed. When we introduce something, we're going to stand behind it and watch it for at least 4 seasons.
Well, and you take a risk.
We've
Absolutely.
already purchased the fabric. There are plenty
Yeah.
of manufacturers that go to market with an idea of what they think might
Yeah.
work, and then they wait to see what the market feedback is before
Yeah.
they invest in it, before they purchase the fabric, or before they cut
Yeah.
the PO to that container if it's an
Yeah.
import. So we just do not do that. We're already committed to it. The fabric is already in stock by the time we go to market.
You're one of the few companies I know too. Like a lot of people do wood frame chairs, but you like even with your rattan chairs, like that's what's most people are gonna be like, why are you getting on a tangent? That's just me. Sorry. Like I've got a million companies do rattan. I can pick a finish. I can change it. Nobody does
That's the
that. Like you're doing cool things in your company, and maybe because it's small and you don't have to like think about the 3 cents it costs more to do this one thing. I know you do, but and it just makes it nice from the design standpoint to have options and the ability to do things a little different from everybody else.
And we do feel like that's our niche. Like there are a lot
Absolutely.
of companies that make fine upholstery, but if we can be the one that says yes to the odd request, the changing of the size or the special fabric or the special handling of a certain COM tape, whatever.
Yeah.
We need to be that accommodating yes company, especially for the designers.
Well, I think it helps customers too from it. And again, to get on a little tangent, but like then know when you want to change a frame, it's made here. It's not an
Absolutely.
imported frame. It's made here. We build it. We create it. So it's still American made. It's still made by hand. It's still a bench made piece of furniture. And a lot of people don't do that anymore.
And I think in our industry, we assume people know that. And I'm just continue to just be amazed at how little knowledge about our industry is out in the world.
So
Yeah.
true.
And we do a lot of plant tours. And talk about filling your cup. It's amazing to walk people through, take them to the lumber yard, take them to where the frame's being cut. And then you can speak to, they've heard the yes on the front end over a quote, but then to see how we're able to say the yes, it's our yeses aren't frivolous. We've structured the company so that we can say that from whether it's operational and out in the plant or our financial, side of our business, we've set it up so that we can say yes, because yes is expensive sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
So we've got to look at that, and we talk about that with Michael Bingham, our CFO, who's been an incredible addition in the last year. And we have a, as you have a lot of yin and yang there. And we come back to, how do we do this for Taylor King and for the way that we are operating, and want to be able to say that yes and service the customer.
Yeah. What are you all most proud of with Taylor King right now? Like, thinking back, like, over the past few years, what's brought you a lot of pride?
Well, I think that we are extremely proud of our people. We have an incredible group of folks. Our folks at the factory, our sales reps on the road, our folks at our showroom. We have a great group of people. And I've touched on this earlier, that as manufacturers and as an industry, we can kind of get in our way, right? This is how we do it, and this is how we've always done it. And we're continuing to problem solve in fresh new ways. And I'll quote a couple folks, but our PD supervisor, Kelly Walker, has a great saying that's like, well, if I see a picture or something was done, at some point somebody found a way to do that. And so when we hit challenges, we're going to find a new way to do that. And I think that's something that we're very proud of, but we're very excited by, is this overall mindset of we're going to find a way. Right. We've got a new challenge. We implemented a new ERP system a year ago. Yeah. Holy moly. You guys know that's major. Yeah. But folks were solution oriented and bullheaded about that, bullheaded about a solution. And so we don't back down until we figure it out. And I'm really proud of everybody leaning in and stretching ourselves that way.
Yeah.
I would have said the same thing. You kind of stole my answer a little bit, but it's company culture, and it starts with Nicole and trickles down. And at Taylor King, everyone is armed and confident to make their own decisions about their job and what is the right answer and what needs to be done. There's not a lot of micromanaging. Everyone is kind of trusted to be skilled in their field and enabled to move things down the line. And it's really awesome, awe-inspiring. Again, as Nicole said, to walk the plant and to see the product being made there in America every day, what we're doing is awe-inspiring to me.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think people get to, like you were talking about earlier, Amazon. I think the other part of the equation with the consumerism has changed is expectation of production. It's like, I think and from the retail side, I think I still am shocked, and I've been in it so damn long, I should know it by now, when people come in and go, oh, there are more than 4 fabrics, or it's going to take 8 weeks. Right. And you have to go, well, Taylor King builds sofas that go all over the world. So you got to get in line behind the guy that ordered it in Saudi Arabia, or the guy that ordered in Great Britain, or the guy that ordered it in. They're not just building yours, they're building others. And here are the 600 fabrics or whatever the number is that they come in, and they just
think it's like stocked in a warehouse somewhere,
right? Which is fascinating to watch.
Colors.
But
you want to educate them.
Well, I think the pendulum is swinging back, right? Because I think enough consumers have been burned with that fast furniture that they bought online that arrived either damaged or didn't look anything like the photo.
They had to glue together, which
right? They
made
had to put it together.
Putting a sofa together,
right?
No,
furniture should be heirloom, right? You should be handing it down to your children. You should own it and love it for years. People ask me all the time, aren't you always changing your house? And I'm not, because I bought quality furniture because I had accessibility to it being in the industry, to be honest, but bought quality furniture at a young age, and I still love all my pieces. Yeah. I will be reupholstering them soon because they're now 25 years old.
But with 3 kids and all
a dog and 3 kids.
My hand-me-down sofa is now 30 years old. Oh, no, not quite. 25, 26. And my daughter was crushed that she and her boyfriend couldn't get it upstairs in their new condo. And she was like, it's in our garage. I'm crushed. We wanted to reuse it. And I'm like, that sofa's, and that's what I'm like, it's got spring down cushions. I tell everybody, don't do foam, do spring down, but nobody listens.
Right.
But it's fine. But it's kind of cool that you can. Heirloom is a thing now, and I think with the mindset of that less being a disposable, we're kind of going away from being a disposable culture to reuse, reupholster. I'm tired of fast fashion. I'm tired of fast furniture. Like
we all have to shop smarter.
Yeah,
we need our planet.
And I don't understand it.
True.
And I'm old, so you would think I would be like, oh, get me a new one. But no, I've got a Baker piece of my parents that's from the '60s, a buffet.
That's a treasure.
Never let go.
I was going to say, never let that go.
I will never let that thing go. My kids look at me, why do you have that big piece of furniture? But now now they love it when you explain how it's made, where it's from, who, where, how no, you can't get anymore.
I was going to say, and the style period that it was from
Yeah.
that's being replicated, but that was probably, I would imagine, an original,
Yeah.
you know, so.
It's
for your
60s
parents.
Milling Road, 1964.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah,
Gorgeous.
it's an old piece. But so, what are you guys seeing in the future? Like, what are the changes? The heirloom things are back. Traditional at market seem to be back. We were talking about that one plaid, now polyester instead of a silk, and like beautiful colors. Where are you seeing the trends in the industry now for next market?
I mean, I think all the embellishments are definitely coming back.
gonna
We're
say
going
that
to
we saw a lot
return
of
to trims and
Yeah.
bouillons and
Yeah.
fridges.
We're leaning in
and-
again. We've got some
Love it.
fabulous trims
Love it.
coming.
Yeah,
for
last
April.
market we leaned in kind of heavily on some really beautiful, luxurious leathers that are really unique, more
Yeah.
fashion leathers. And so we did that. And now this market might be our trim market. There's a lot of new and again traditional
Yeah.
prints and florals
And seeing what our community is sending in, our customer community, you know, whether it's retail or design, you know, COM is a great study tool.
Yeah.
And folks are using a lot of our trims, but they're trimming COM or they're sending in COM trims
Yeah.
too. And so, you know, watching that, it's not just what we love or what, you know, we're picking. We're also seeing that our customers are asking for that. And they're, you know, it's just, that's fascinating to see what people order. And as Cass mentioned, you know, we're so inspired walking through the plant. And it really true. I don't use never much, but
Yeah.
there's never a time when you don't walk through the plant and go, oh, I would have never thought to do that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how cool is that? You know,
I imagine.
and things that, you know, someone might pick a fabric that we think they're, you know, that really is only a little chair fabric and
Yeah.
they're going to play it safe. And then someone puts it on a massive sectional and you're like, I want an invitation to where this is going. Because how cool is
Yeah.
somebody, you know,
Well, and that's
that's
why I love
fearless.
following like you and Century and all the other companies on Instagram and seeing like somebody will post like here's a day in the plant and they'll pull things out and
Chris
ship.
does too.
Chris does
Yes,
it all the
Chris
time.
does.
I
Yeah, he
love because you get to see things like you said that wow I would have never put that finish with that fabric. I would have never thought that on that
And it's
chair.
fabulous.
Yeah,
there's
it's incredible.
so much talent. And, you know, we only have this short window of time to put together our showroom. And again, we could just keep going with rooms and rooms, but we have kind of the limitation there. And so to see what folks create in, you know, in your world and bring it to us, it's a lot of fun.
Well, and it's great that you use that as inspiration and you're kind of taking notes as you do get the COM fabrics and trims and stuff like that and kind of put that thought in your head. Oh, this might be interesting, you know.
It's a great study tool.
I think we'd be negligent if we didn't talk about Lauren Lease and Celery Kimball and those
two
like
amazing,
licensed
amazing.
collections because
I love Lauren
the-
after doing the interview
Right.
with her.
She's amazing.
with both of them, they're amazing people to start with. But when you look at their career and what they've been able to achieve and what they've been able to do, it's easy to kind of think, how? Like, why? How? And then you meet them and you hear the story of all the grind that went in at the beginning when they were young and starting out. And it's easy to understand at that point. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into being where they are today. And they're both just so gracious and humble about it. And
Well, and Celery, crazy part about say like I remember, and y'all were probably children when they
when it launched at Henrodon,
Henrodon.
I was there.
Yeah.
The pictures lived in my phone for years.
Yeah, I was obsessed with her collection, especially she was at Market Square and with all the wood and everything was so beautiful because that's when they first moved out of their showroom, which was one of my favorite showrooms in the history of showrooms. But when she started, and then you come back to the new collection she's done for you and some of the original sofas to show you how timeless her pieces are. There's that one curved sofa that you actually
The cape.
Yeah, it's great frames.
which was
My
a
customers absolutely love
which
it.
is one of my favorite
Yes.
at Henrodon when she debuted at Henrodon like 30 years ago.
Well, that's
And
such
it's
a good lesson in you reap what you
beautiful.
sow, right? Like she planted those
Yeah.
seeds at Henrodon 20 years ago, and that collection was never able to really ship
No.
and have any fruition. So
No.
she never had any reward for all that work she put into that at that time. But now that we were able to bring those to life now,
I mean, they're
it's
still
full
beautiful.
circle for her.
That's a beautiful point.
It is.
Very good point.
They're still they're timeless, classic. Even the pieces she's done for Woodbridge, like I remember those case pieces at Henrodon are a version of, or even at Maitland when she did the pieces for Maitland, and I was like, and the lighting at Maitland that she did, there's still some great pieces I love of hers from there that they aren't named her anymore, but they have her little, and it's
Her
just
touch.
it's crazy to see how they're still in fashion.
They have both really stretched us. You know, we talked about that a little bit earlier about kind of always learning new muscles and like not stopping and going like, okay, good, we did that. What's next? both Lauren and Celery bring us frames that we would not have chosen and wouldn't have been on our board, and each have their own like puzzle. And you go like, okay, how are we going to figure this out? And so we're all learning something new in the plant.
Yeah.
And, as Cass mentioned, they're both so gracious. So when we need to make a manufacturing tweak for structure or quality or capability through the plant, they're businesswomen, they're designers, but they're so smart and easy to work with too. And they go, okay, I get it, makes sense. And so it's just been such a lovely relationship that we're able to bring to life their collections.
That's awesome.
And their collections are still,
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
They're so talented.
Again, if I could redo and get out of my norm, and I just need this sofa and do something different. There's so many great little pieces, but I'm with you. I can't throw away my old pieces. I've got 2 hand-done carved chairs that I've had for 30 years, and a Ralph Lauren wingback that I don't want to throw away, and a Hancock and Moore ottoman that I've had. How that zebra hair on hide is still, I've got wear spots in it. My friends are like, don't you want to recover that? I'm like, nope, that's what
the
makes
beauty.
it beautiful.
Absolutely.
That's the patina.
That's what makes
It
it
is.
beautiful.
It's a natural good.
I love
It
how
is.
you use
Going
the word
to
patina
evolve.
for all of it, all encompassing.
It's our selling
Yeah.
language, isn't it? Our selling appreciation language.
So, I mean, it's amazing what you've done at the company in just a short period of time, because I've seen a change. Like, you've been there 4 years now.
A little over 2.
Okay, so it seemed like longer because the changes have moved really quickly. But you feel a freshness in the company that was not. I've always loved Taylor King. Not that it was stale by any way, shape, or form, but it just, you feel a new life. And it's fun to come to market and see it. Like, everybody's excited and it feels fresh and the ideas seem different. Because, every company goes, and I've seen it with all the furniture companies, they get into kind of, they know they're successful and they just kind of continue to do what they do and tweak. But you've kind of brought a life back, or a little breath of fresh air, both of you, to the look and the feel, and the employees are excited and happy. Not that they weren't, but it just
spark when you walked into your showroom at
Yeah.
Market this time, because we were there for a little
Yeah,
bit,
that
you know.
means-
Yeah.
We were
means
there
a
for
lot
a
to
while
us.
hanging
Thank you.
out, but you could just watch everybody and the excitement, and people would see a piece that they're like, oh my gosh, we need to get this. And it was just incredible. There was such a life.
And there's never been a time when I haven't been to market and been like, because sometimes you go and you're like, oh, they're not going to do that much this time. We'll go to the next market.
I always go to Taylor King.
Well,
Always.
because your showroom's always fresh and it's always
Thank you.
exciting.
And I think that does point to being a female-run company versus a male-dominated company, is that, yes, we want it to look beautiful, and that's kind of like secondhand to us, but we want it to feel good.
Yeah.
And we want it to not be so serious. Like, we're not going to take ourselves so serious. We're not going to
Right.
be buttoned-up
You
suits.
can't
Not
this
stuffy.
We're
industry.
going to wear skirts that we made out of our fabrics and, have a good
That was
time
fun,
and really engage with our customers. And we want everybody to feel that welcoming, warm feeling.
Absolutely. So well said. And, it does come back to this overall open-mindedness and our team being on board with, and we have to be a little self-deprecating here. They tease us. They're like, we can't let you two hang out too long. Y'all come back.
Yeah.
You come back from a trip and you're like, we have an idea, and
Yeah, but that's what's exciting.
after the original shock and awe, they're like,
Yeah.
I think we can do that. And I think it's going to work, and
The funniest was the mini headboard meeting.
yes.
Oh, the
that was
mini
so
headboards.
good.
We still don't. Your brother's
so
supposed to
good.
get us
We
those
still
mini
don't have
headboards.
Okay.
I'm
them.
like,
I would love to have
I don't have them yet.
no,
We'll
no,
remedy
are-
that.
we're on
If
it.
you told
Trust
me we
me.
would have brought them.
We
to
are
you
on
today.
it.
trust me, I'm like obsessed with those mini headboards. So they're,
have been, so it's a great story. So actually, Catherine, Chris's wife, is to credit for that. She sent us an Instagram post and she was like, look at these are so cool. And we were like, of course, like, oh my gosh, these are amazing. We
Yeah.
need these for TaylorMade. And so we took it to our VP of manufacturing. And of course, at first he's like, really? This is something you guys want to do? I'm like, think of it. Look at all the forms and da-da-da-da. So anywho, a couple weeks go by and he comes up to us with a sample and we're just gushing. We're like,
Yeah.
these are amazing. They're going to be a hit at market. And he's still sort of like, okay,
I
we'll
want
see.
to know. I want to know who went blind tufting the little. Those little
I was
tongues.
going to say that's to add on to this story, but we took them to market. They were a hit. They've continued to be a hit, and so again, our team being open to that and going, really? But so after we introduced them April of last year, again, AJ Hatfield, our VP of manufacturing, said, "Hey, I have an idea. We want our factory full with customer orders."
Yeah.
He said, "What if instead of using our production capability for these little mini headboards," he said, "one of our retired upholsterers is running a rehabilitation center where
Yeah.
folks are getting back on their feet from
Oh, that's awesome.
from whatever struggle they might
Yeah.
be facing, and he wants to train some of them how to upholster so that when they're ready, they can go back out in the world. He's like, what do you
Yeah.
think if we have them make them? And I'm like, that's brilliant. Absolutely. Great idea. And I'm getting chills as I'm telling you this because Donnie is his name, and he's come back to us a few times. And he's like, you know what? We have some guys showing real promise in upholstery. And
that's a lost art.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
a totally
just-
lost art in this industry.
there are so many wins
Good upholsterer
packed
art,
in
good
that.
upholsterers anymore.
Yeah.
So those mini headboards are a really great selling tool.
Yeah.
And there's a whole lot more going on there.
Well, it's a great visual
incredible
and that's
story,
things your company's done that others need to follow suit. Like they don't. You've done so many great little tools in the retail side help us. I mean, great. The sheets are great. Like you know,
sheets,
you
yeah.
can only show so many arms on a piece of paper.
Sure.
You can only show. So we've kind of incorporated, which I love, these giant screens at work.
Oh, nice.
So we're kind of getting away from the catalogs. Well, I've completely dumped. I haven't looked at a catalog. Couldn't tell you the last time I turned a
love that
page.
answer.
With these,
Absolutely.
I mean, at least this large,
Same.
at least 42, 50 inches. And I go on there and I live on that screen, and they hate me because I live on the main one.
He Bogarts the one up front.
Oh, yeah.
We got to
Well,
go
because-
around the corner to the second one.
Because I go
he's
through those
there
screens because it's a
24/7.
great way to show people like I can go into TaylorMade and show them examples. Here's this arm paired with this back. Here's this skirt. Here's this leg. This is the way this is finished. And the beds too. Without the mini headboards, I can show them. This is this version of the bed. This is it tufted. This is it. And because people are visual, they need to know.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can tell you what your room looks like in my head.
Sure.
But I have
Same.
to be able to show you. And I can put it on a board with a piece of paper and say, this is going to be your fabric and this is going to be and they look at you like, okay. The mood boards, like I think they're neat, but I wish we'd come up with a 3D way to just build the whole darn thing and put it out there for everybody. But it's been kind of great, especially because your website's got so many great pictures, and you're when you say new fabrics, your fabrics are on the website like in a couple weeks. I don't have to wait like a month and get picture coming soon. Now, if you could just drape.
We're close.
That's the next tool.
Getting there.
Close.
Yeah.
Good, that's the
We're
next
working on
tool.
it.
Good.
I know because
Well,
I
I
think
should
people
say
get,
we.
well,
ChatGPT is working on it.
yeah. Well, but well, and that's everybody. But it's funny because people go to these brand stores and they have 6 fabrics, and of course they can drape 6 fabrics on one frame because they don't have 42 arms and 37 legs and different. And so you try to explain to people, oh, you mean you can't drape it? Well, see this wall here, like with Cheryl, we have now that they've incorporated all their fabrics through their whole line. You know, there's over 3,000 fabrics you can look at and put on something. It's kind of mind numbing, but it's cool.
Well, and we, back to investments, that's where we're investing is in stocking these gorgeous fabrics. Not to say we're not, like as Cass said, we're heading in the direction of draping, but and the tools are getting better and faster and more affordable.
Oh.
But that's been, again, as manufacturers, that's where we've leaned our investment.
Yeah.
So
But I think that's a great idea because people have to know what they're getting. They'd love to know
right.
because they're used to, like we talked about Amazon and oh God, what's my other one? Wayfair. Ooh.
Oh,
I
yes. Yeah.
Sorry.
I can't talk
Love
because I do
Wayfair.
own like one piece, but it was just a temporary
Oh,
piece.
I've got no problem with high-low. Like I had a mirrored Target table in my house next to my Ralph Lauren wingback.
You bet.
And everybody was
It's all
like, "That's
about the
the
high-low."
coolest table I've ever
Yeah.
seen." I'm like, "You too can have it for $99 from Target. It is
And
not that big a deal."
You're investing in your upholstery,
Yeah.
and then you're picking areas where
Where you sit, where you
Right.
eat, where you sleep. Those
Where
are
you're
the
gonna
3
build the
places you
budget.
put
Yeah,
the
now if I
money.
could just redo my bathroom and use every sink from Woodbridge, like
they're so beautiful.
that. What is the one? Because I just put the chest. Oh my God, I'm so bad with names. I can just
Cotswold,
the Cotswold with the mahogany with the inlay and the black marble tops. I just placed that in a client's home and it's magnificent.
How
And
did
now
I
the
know you were
bathroom
gonna say
sink, and now the bathroom sink. Like I want a sink.
Yeah.
Like that, and then what's the new one that was the last market with the marble shelf on the top? Like I'm obsessed with it now.
I'm too far removed now. I don't
You
know
are,
the names
but,
of
well, you
the
should
new
know
stuff.
because you should put one of them in your showroom.
We should. No, you're right.
It's
that works so beautifully.
they're so again. That goes back to we're in this industry and we see things and we have to dial it back because I'm like, I can't rent my bathroom apart because I don't own it. I'm renting, so I can't tear this apart. I can't tear that apart. Put holes in the wall and I can move
You
furniture
sell it to a
around.
client.
Yeah.
Oh, believe me, I'm
Yeah,
working
sell
on
what
it.
you
You
love
put
to a
your
client.
inspiration
on
for
it.
yourself into your client's home.
I got
That's
that.
Live
so
vicariously
difficult.
through my clients for
Exactly.
15
Yeah,
years.
Well,
it
that's
is.
what makes going into that people don't understand the good. That we're so lucky, and I've said this before in our podcast, to be in North Carolina and the ability to go to these showrooms. Because market to me gives me life.
Yeah.
I get about
Oh, yeah.
6
Absolutely.
months into a year, and I'm like, okay, I'm burned out. I'm done.
My
I need some
camera
life.
feed, I always have to go through and pare down because I just take a million pictures and I'm like, well, I don't need this one. This, yes, I know somebody for this. So
Yeah.
it's just, we get so much inspiration from doing
We
that.
totally do, and it's there are a few showrooms like yours that I love to just go back because what about this paint color? I didn't think about this fabric on this chair. I didn't think about this rug using with that fabric or this print on that print. And that's where like celery has come in because she's great at mixing,
Yeah.
like obsessed with the way she mixes patterns and
Me
color
too.
and
Layering.
shape.
Oh,
And the layering is insane.
And on that note, we have a new designer collection coming out in
I
April.
was going to ask if is there a
So excited to
secret?
see it.
Is there a secret? Can't give it
It
away
is.
yet. Can you give it away yet?
When will this air?
Probably not till after market.
Oh,
Okay.
We can totally say it.
So we are licensing Charlotte Lucas design.
Oh, awesome.
Awesome.
That'll be
And
great.
she's local.
Oh, that's going to be so good for you
Yay.
all. We'll
We
talk about
are-
inspiring Charlotte.
Yeah. And so, she is a lovely, lovely person, very much like Celery
Yeah.
and Lauren, incredibly
Yeah.
talented, has been so easy to work with. We've had so much fun. So, a
We
lot of
may
hard
have
work, but a lot of
somebody
fun.
to interview next market.
Oh, there
then.
you go.
If we do
Yes,
this again. If we
definitely.
do that again.
Yes.
Yes. Love to
And we'll
interview her.
probably stick to our Sunday night launch party.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, that was
Probably.
awesome.
That's
Yeah,
good.
that was so
Awesome.
much fun. Yeah.
And we're doing a really cool thing with Sunbrella on Saturday.
this
Chris's
is awesome.
daughter has designed a couple fabrics, and Sunbrella is
awesome.
creating them
Oh,
for us.
fun.
So we're doing a whole. It's called Next Gen Color Pop. So pulling in the younger people.
People.
So
Yeah.
Yes.
Kevin Henshaw's daughter Taylor designed
Yeah.
a cocktail table, so she'll be there. And then
Oh, awesome.
And then Brian Cantor from L&M Carpets, his daughter designed rugs, so she'll be there.
Oh,
and
that'd
then
be awesome.
Sunbrella's
Oh, that's
going to
so
do a
cool
whole
that
thing
you're
where
bringing
they're going to
younger
mash
generation.
blackberries into the fabric.
Well, and
Yeah.
I mean, you probably heard us talk about that as manufacturers. We need young people.
Yes.
And it starts here. Who
Right.
knows what their trajectory
What a
will
different
be.
perspective.
But it's that's this
it's all
lady.
about the
She's like, I have an
perspective.
idea. And I'm like, oh, I love that. That's awesome.
Well, I'm glad to see somebody partner with Sunbrella again because they
Yeah.
kind of. I mean, I love Valdez and Inside Out. I'm obsessed. I use their fabrics galore, but it's nice to have another option, especially in that because everybody's
just
about the
different.
indoor
They're-
outdoor.
Yeah,
It's
it's
different.
They're
Absolutely.
completely different.
Yeah.
And
Patterns are different. Everything's
and
different.
and sadly during the pandemic, kind of Sunbrella got stuck in that couldn't get the yarns, couldn't get because you couldn't ship things, and nobody could produce, and
Yeah, it takes-
and I'm glad to see there's. I love Sunbrella, use it all the time. I'm glad to see them come
they're
back
great
and
partners.
do things fresh.
And they've been, I feel like they met this idea with the same enthusiasm we have for it. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, I love this. Send us the artwork. It's great.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. That'll probably be Saturday night is what we're
Awesome.
thinking.
Well,
So,
good. We'll put it on our calendar.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's been so wonderful talking to you both and learning more about Taylor King. I mean, we know a lot because we've worked hand in hand with you all, but it's great just to know a lot more about you, but also about the company itself and where it's heading. So,
It's been wonderful getting a different perspective. Like
Yeah.
it's nice to see
Thank
breath
you.
of fresh air in this industry, because it's not that it's that male dominated, but it is. And I've always it's been part of my life for 30 years, and I've wanted to get into more of it on the other side. And it's nice to see that somebody different's in and doing something different.
and I
Wow.
came into this industry a little later in life. So it's kind of fun, though, to see the direction it's going now. And it's so exciting to see
Yeah, it's just
everything going on and that it's not dying. People keep saying the furniture industry is
going away.
dying.
It's going
No,
away.
it's not.
No.
We're
No, it's
seeing
not.
an influx with all of our manufacturers of some new ideas and sparking some creativity, which is just amazing.
What is happening is the old guard is retiring, and
Yeah.
the next generation is taking over and taking them up.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
And
Yeah,
I think
which is
we're
amazing.
more aggressive. And aggressive sometimes has a negative connotation, but we're more aggressive in going after young people.
Yeah.
And we have quite a few young superstars in our company who, again, are open-minded and, well, why don't we try this? And, well, can we play with that? And, they might start in one department in our company, and we see these little glimmers of like think of someone in our shipping department who also has a very creative side. And
Yeah.
so
guy
going
that
like,
painted. Who was the guy that painted
Carson.
That
Yeah.
was amazing.
Yeah.
That
That's who
wall-
we're talking about.
That
Yeah.
wall he did at Market was
Isn't he incredible?
incredible.
Yeah.
And that's
He should be
just the
designing
start.
fabric.
He is
He
incredibly
should be designing
talented.
fabric.
Yeah.
So it's I think that's an exciting thing
Yeah.
to see for our industry too. It is not dying, and
Yeah.
I think this is a passion-driven industry. If you look at everybody that encompasses our domestic manufacturing, we're not going to let it die. Look at the group of people that we're hungry and we hustle and we figure it out.
Yeah.
Look at the things the industry's been through in the last 40 years.
Well, that's why when you were talking about the guy that was helping rehabilitate,
Is that not so
to me,
beautiful?
that's so amazing because
Yeah.
I know that when we lost all those people years ago, and then they realized it's not a family business anymore, so their kids didn't go into upholstering, and they're hard to find. Good upholsterers are hard to find, and you see it when you see some of the brands that we get in, and sometimes you go, okay, who put the welt on that? And how did they get away with that?
Workforce challenges are very real.
Yeah.
We have another young superstar who raised his hand, started with us in our sweeping department, and raised his hand wanting to learn spring up. And that's one of the hardest, most challenging physical parts of our operation. And he's doing a great job. And
It's amazing. Well, and tufting, nobody hand
gosh.
tufts the right, cut and sew tufting is not the same as hand tufting.
You're right about that. You bet.
That
It's
cape
very
sofa,
difficult.
amazingly tufted.
Beautiful. And then with
Yeah.
the curve and stuff. Yeah.
So
And the
beautiful.
legs
so
on the
beautiful.
side and stuff. Oh, it's just gorgeous.
Well, thank you.
Do you want to lead us out?
Yeah, well, thank you so much, guys. It's just been wonderful to talk to both of you. I've enjoyed it. You can catch our podcast anywhere. You can find your podcast and look for inspiringsharlotte.com. And I want to thank you guys again. And it's been a wonderful,
This is
wonderful
awesome. Thank
conversation.
you.
Thank you so much for having us.